Afternoon. Join us virtually, Ambrose Igboke, media consultant, public affairs analyst. He joins us live on the program. Ambrose, good to see you this afternoon.
Okay.
All right. I wonder, maybe we should begin the conversation with you, Ambrose. I wonder how you're receiving the news of the Minister of Labour, Dr. Chris Ngige, threatening to replace the resident doctors if they do not return to work by Monday.
First of all, I want to express my utter disappointment. Chris Ngige is a medical doctor by profession. So, of all people, he should be the one to respect his colleagues because he is a medical doctor first and foremost before becoming a politician. So it is very unwholesome that he should talk to his colleagues that way in the profession. Then secondly, I think he's also been carried away by his political office because I think he's behaving as if it is a bunch of school pupils who are threatening to go on strike and he, the headmaster, talking to them. This has been what Ngige represents. He has not been able, I must say, as a manager of labor issues in the country, he has the diplomatic capacity to actually negotiate with labor union. And he has demonstrated that lack of capacity in terms of when the ASU strike was on, when the joint workers union for the judiciary, all the strikes that have been going on since he became labor minister. It is not trite that he should be always caught napping in these cases. Firstly, these are legitimate rights. It's not as if these doctors are asking for what is not obtainable. This is an agreement that the federal government reached with them. The federal government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a continuum. Whether it was in your regime, it was held, or it was not in your tenure, it is a continuum. When the government inherited the assets of the federal government, they also inherited the liabilities. They also inherited the progress as well as the limitations. So when you sit down with a union and you enter an agreement with them, and you flagrantly, did not keep to that agreement, and they come back to you to say, implement what we agreed on, and you get angry and start talking to them, as if they're a bunch of primary school students and their Lord and Master. It is not going. It's not behaving well. The word in minister is a Latin word. The origin is from the Latin word, and it means to serve. It means servant, actually. Minister means servant. And I think Nigerian ministers should try to know that the word minister means servant. So they are servants, actually, public servants. They are there to serve the interests of the Nigerian people. They are not our lords. They are not our masters. Therefore, that should be very clear. So when labor union is having issues like this, they should sit down with them and know what their grievances is. If there are any reasons why the federal government cannot keep to the agreement it reached with labor, then the onus falls on the federal government to bring out the statistics, bring out the issues, table it before those people, and then amicably implore that they give you some time or do a phase-by-phase implementation, or just plead with them to have some kind of to give you some time so that you can be able to put this together. But in our case, what we have are people who are just shouting and talking to people anyhow. It is unfortunate because we're having a lot of brain drain. I was reading a post last night where somebody said when he went to the UK some 15 years ago, there were just 200 and something medical doctors in the part of that place, and today from Nigeria there are over 2,000. That should show you the level of brain drain that is going on in the country. Nurses are leaving in droves.
We'll come to that. This issue of
do they want to empty our health system before they take action? So threatening people is not
of the world. Yes, Ambrose, we will check in with you, Ambrose, as we continue. Let's get to the reactions and thoughts of our guests here, Victor and Sunday. Victor, Sunday, how are you receiving this news? It's day six of the nationwide strike declared by the resident doctors. It's been 6 days since the doctors have been absent. We do not know the state of what would have been playing out now with patients. Sunday, let's begin with you.
Yeah. You see, the statement of, of the Minister of Labour, Dr. Ngige, is quite unfortunate and unexpected of a minister, that is himself is a medical doctor. So it's not like the doctors are dealing with an external person, but they're also dealing with one of their...
A medical doctor by training?
By training, yes.
Maybe he's now more of a politician.
No, he's purely a politician, but he ought to understand the rudiments of medical practice.
All right.
He ought to understand the language of the medical doctors. He doesn't seem to do that. Okay? So it shows the extent to which the government appears to be insensitive to the affairs of the country, welfare of Nigerians, and even the welfare of Nigerian workers, or a sector of the Nigerian workers. Okay? Now, the lack of discipline in government itself. When you are in government, you think the world is in your pocket. You can do anything, you can achieve anything. As we speak, a government will just wake up tomorrow and say they are increasing the pump price of petrol. Whereas that official doesn't spend one naira from his own income to go and buy that thing. It's provided for by the state. Okay? Our officials seek medical attention services overseas. Including Mr. President.
Who at the moment, of course, is even outside the country. I'm not sure if he's back yet.
Okay. And this issue started before he left, I guess, because they issued the warning. Now you try to develop your own health facilities, and you go outside to seek those services. Then when the people now put up demand, you now turn against them. Now, they will want to listen to the medical doctors, but go and check what they are spending on the issue of COVID.
All right.
Which if they deploy such fund, they will settle all that the doctors are asking for.
All right. Victor, let's get into the conversation because the Minister of Health as well, Dr. Osage Hanire, on Thursday made a press conference, and he has said that, look, some of these issues are not issues from us, the federal government. I mean, we are doing well. The resident doctors should go back to the states because some of their demands should be answered by the state government.
He says so, but he never mentioned those things that concern the federal government. That statement he made was not specific. I read it quite all right, and
maybe the doctors understand.
No, they shouldn't understand. He was talking to Nigerians. He wanted us to take side with the federal government, to sympathize with the federal government, but he never told us that these are the items that fall under the purview of the federal government. These are the ones that fall under the purview of the state government. He just made a vague statement that 7 out of the 12 things that the resident doctors are demanding for fall under the state government. He never itemized them. One would have expected it to itemize those things that, okay, 7 of these things fall under the control of the state government, 5 of these things fall to us. Okay, let us even agree that 7 of those items that the resident doctors are requesting for fall under the state. The one that fall under the federal government, have they met those things?
Well, the minister says...
That is a big question.
Well, the minister says they have met about 5 out of 7.
No, he just made a vague statement that out of the 12 things that the resident doctors are demanding for, 7 of them belong to the state, 5 of them belong to them, to the federal government. He never said that they have met the 5 items that fall under the federal government.
He said they were in the process of meeting it.
So the process of meeting is not the same thing to have met those things. He should have told us that, okay, the one that falls under our control, we have met them. Then I would have sympathized with him. But he never said so. He said they are in the process. Okay, you are in the process. The state government are in the process. So why are you blaming the resident doctors? Why is the Minister of Labour threatening to sack them? In the first place, we don't even have enough medical doctors. You are threatening to sack them.
So
if you sack them, it's not going to solve the problem.
Delve into that. Is it possible for the minister to replace the resident doctors?
It's not possible. In the first place,
no,
let us even agree by law that it can do that. As we stand today, we are in short supply of medical doctors. We are in short supply
even
because
by law,
a lot of them are leaving the country.
Even by law, you can't do that. because the medical doctor, they have a right to protest. They have a right to make demand. And if you don't meet their demand, they have a right to take further action, which they have taken.
All right.
So where are those doctors coming to practice? Are they going to practice in Cameroon or in Benin? They are practicing Nigeria under the same system that is not conducive for these people to perform their duties.
All right, Ambrose, let's get into the conversation as well. Is it possible for the minister to replace these resident doctors? And then, of course, for those who would think that well, the doctors should be considerate, you know, especially when it has to do with life and death. I mean, we will also keep saying that they swore a particular oath and all of that. What's your response to this?
The people that brought about the hypocritic that oath that doctors took were people that lived in a country where all things were being equal. They didn't envisage that there will be a time in some countries where those things that have been taken for granted by them will not be available. That is the Hippocratic oath we are talking about. The Hippocratic oath that means that all things being equal, that the doctors are being paid as and when due, they are receiving all the allowances, the working environment is okay, they have the equipment to work with, they have everything to work with. Therefore, they will ensure that at no time will they not be at work at the risk even of their own lives. That is what it means. It doesn't mean that if you don't pay a man his salary, if you owe him all his allowances, if he doesn't, so Hippocratic oath means the family of the doctor should die instead of the patient. We should not, those Nigerians who are saying this are Nigerians that are hypocritical. They don't want the progress of this country. They should be the ones fighting for the cause of the doctors. Because if these doctors are well paid and taken care of, they will take care of our relatives. They will take care of our citizens. They will take care of the sick people. Now, those who are making those excuses, they themselves are making those excuses. Are they not being paid where they work? If they don't work, if they are not being paid, or whether they don't receive what is their right, will they not protest? And if they don't have the guts to protest, and some people have the guts to do so, why can't they do it? But then there's another argument that some experts have argued. The argument is this: because of the, you know, the kind of work the doctors do, sensitivity of their work, that it contains to human life, it pertains to human life, that doctors should stop going on strike. Instead, the doctors should engage another sensitive part of the another sensitive union that does not deal with human life. For example, NUPEN or Pengasen, a body that has the capacity also to ground the country. For example, some schools of thought have argued that the medical doctors can say, okay, instead of us going on strike and people dying, NUPEN or Pengasen, help us go on this strike. The government listens to us, ground the economy, no fuel anywhere, and all those kind of things. That this will also make the federal government live up to their responsibility. That is another school of thought. But in all this emanating school of thoughts or perceptions will not even have happened in the first place if the government just simply lived up to its responsibility. As Sunday mentioned, there are a lot of money being spent on COVID-19. There's a lot of money being frittered away in so many other. Why can't you pay these people their bills? Nigeria is not a poor country in terms of what we have, in terms of our wealth. Therefore, these people deserve to be paid.
Yes, we have to round up.
Even if there's a reason why the government is not paying,
you can respond to this question in 60 seconds or less, Ambrose. Just a moment. I hate to break your flow of thought, Ambrose, because we have to round up with this particular topic as soon as possible. Can you respond to this in 60 seconds or less, if you may? Is it time to put an end to medical tourism, especially for public workers, beginning from the office of Mr. President?
I mean, these are the things Nigerian citizens should be arguing in terms of when you want to take public office. It should be made a law. A law should be made that criminalizes people from going to private hospitals or flying overseas. Once you hold a public office, it should be part of the oath you will sign. That when I'm going to public office, I will patronize public hospitals. My children will go to public schools and the rest. Once that is done, our hospitals and public hospitals and schools will become even better than the private ones.
All right, Ambrose, well said. We'll check in with you as we switch and talk about other issues of national interest. But gentlemen, is it time? Is it time for that law? Is it time to put an end to medical tourism? The governors, senators, they keep traveling abroad for medical checkups and all of that. Is it time to put an end to it, Victor?
Yeah, it's time to do that. We have been advocating for that. Even if we have leaders that have conscience.
Because one of the spokesperson, I hate to break you, but one of the spokesperson for Mr. President, Garba Shehu, said that the president was able to afford traveling abroad even before he became president. So it's not because he's president, that's why he's still going abroad. He has been going abroad for medical checkups even before he became president.
He said 40 years.
If he has been going abroad for that those many years, now that he's president, is it not wise for him to build hospital that will take care of his health? That is the question Garba Shehu should answer. And again, he should answer himself that the hospital his boss is going to. Are they not built by human beings? Were they built by angels? If he replicates such hospitals here, will he be going abroad? And again, the same president even said that when he was in the opposition, that there was no need for him or any president to be patronizing foreign hospital or none their children going to foreign schools. He made all this. It's because we don't stand by our words in this country. When people talk about certain people who are men of integrity are just border. A man's body is his own word. If he had made such statements while he was in the opposition, why is he breaking those statements now? Does that debate somebody that has integrity?
All right.
You said one thing when you were in the opposition. Now that you are in power, you are doing a different thing. That is not a sign of a man of integrity.
All right.
That is the truth.
All right. So Sunday will wait in very shortly now, but as it does that, you can take your calls and contributions. Let's see if we can get some feedbacks. Some of you have accused me for not reading your text messages and taking your calls on the show. So I promise you will get your feedbacks on the program in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So of course, 60 seconds. Ensure that your language is TV friendly, is civil enough for broadcast. All right, Sunday.
Yeah.
Medical tourism. Is it time to put an end to it, no matter how severe?
Well, that's a moral question. Because if you ask a legal question, who will make the law? It's those who are benefiting from that make the law. So they will also not want to make such law. Okay.
I know this came before the 8th Assembly. I can't remember the senator who was trying to pass that now.
Yeah, but
he didn't really see the light of day, so to say.
Can't, because they are the beneficiaries. So they don't want such law to be passed. But it's not a mechanical thing. Develop the medical facilities. You will naturally not want to be there. But sometimes for security reasons, some of them, the top ones, may want to be there. But that's not an excuse why you should not develop the facility within the country. So for those who are asking the medical doctors to be considerate, they would rather ask the government officials to be considerate. If this, what's it called? If the governors, the ministers, including local government chairman, should give up those allowances they have, their security votes. The security vote of a governor can pay the annual salary of over 10 medical doctors in a year. The figures are available, even if not more. Not to talk of the local government chairman. If we didn't give it, has he given up the security vote? Let him give up the security vote and tell us there's no money, so that people cannot begin to make adjustments. You cannot be living like though you are second to God, and you're not telling people who are professionals. You are threatening them. Well, let's wait and see how far that threat will go.
Because in all of this, the average Nigerian gets to suffer in all of these issues that keep playing